The Taiwan Strait, a narrow waterway separating mainland China from the island of Taiwan, has long been a flashpoint in global geopolitics. This strategic waterway is not just a geographical divide, but a symbol of the deep-seated political and ideological rift between the two sides. Following the Chinese Civil War in 1949, the defeated nationalist government fled to Taiwan, establishing a separate government. This exodus marked the beginning of a new chapter in the region's history, with Taiwan developing its own identity and political system distinct from mainland China. Beijing has consistently viewed Taiwan as a breakaway province, vowing eventual reunification by force if necessary. This stance is deeply rooted in China's nationalistic fervor and its desire to maintain territorial integrity, which has been a cornerstone of its policy for decades. This stance has fueled decades of mistrust and military buildup, with the United States playing a pivotal role in supporting Taiwan's defense. The U.S. has provided military aid and conducted naval patrols in the Taiwan Strait, signaling its commitment to Taiwan's security. The One China policy, acknowledged by most countries, further complicates the situation. This policy asserts that there is only one China, and that Taiwan is a part of it, even though Taiwan operates as a separate entity. This policy allows for diplomatic relations with China while acknowledging, but not necessarily endorsing, Beijing's claim over Taiwan. It creates a delicate balance that many countries navigate carefully to maintain their relationships with both China and Taiwan. This ambiguity has allowed for a fragile peace, punctuated by periods of heightened tension, such as the Taiwan Strait crises of the 1950s and 1990s. These crises brought the region to the brink of conflict, highlighting the volatility of the situation. The status quo, while uneasy, has persisted for decades, shaping the geopolitical landscape of East Asia. The ongoing tension and the potential for conflict continue to influence international relations and regional stability, making the Taiwan Strait a critical area of focus for global powers. In an unexpected turn of events, China has agreed to a proposal put forth by Taiwan. This surprising development has caught many off guard, given the historical tensions between the two nations. While the specifics of the agreement remain closely guarded, this development marks a seismic shift in the decades-long standoff. Experts are eagerly awaiting more details to understand the full scope and implications of this agreement. The proposal, details of which are slowly emerging, reportedly outlines a framework for increased economic and cultural cooperation. This could pave the way for joint ventures, trade agreements, and cultural exchanges that benefit both sides. It also includes provisions for dialogue on sensitive political issues, though the exact nature of these discussions is still unclear. These provisions could potentially address long-standing disputes and foster a more stable relationship. The acceptance of this proposal has sent shockwaves through the international community, with many grappling to understand the motivations and potential implications. Governments and organizations worldwide are closely monitoring the situation. Some analysts speculate that the agreement signifies a softening of China's stance towards Taiwan, while others caution against premature optimism. They argue that the true test will be in the follow-through and actual implementation of the agreement. The agreement itself represents a significant breakthrough, but the true test lies in its implementation and the long-term impact on cross-strait relations. Only time will tell if this marks the beginning of a new era of cooperation, or if challenges will arise that could derail the progress made. Several converging factors have contributed to this unexpected diplomatic breakthrough. China faces mounting economic challenges, including slowing growth and a trade war with the United States. Seeking stability and a reduction in external pressures, Beijing may see rapprochement with Taiwan as a strategic move. Taiwan, for its part, faces its own set of challenges, including economic dependence on China and increasing diplomatic isolation. Furthermore, the international landscape has shifted significantly in recent years. The United States, while remaining committed to Taiwan's defense, has adopted a more unpredictable foreign policy. This uncertainty may have prompted both China and Taiwan to seek a more stable footing for their relationship. The agreement, therefore, can be seen as a product of both internal pressures and a changing geopolitical reality. The international community has responded to the China-Taiwan agreement with a mixture of cautious optimism and apprehension. The United States, while officially welcoming the development, has expressed concerns about the lack of transparency surrounding the agreement. Japan, a key ally of the United States in the region, has adopted a similarly cautious stance, emphasizing the importance of peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait. Southeast Asian nations, many of which have close economic ties with China, have generally welcomed the agreement, viewing it as a positive step towards regional stability. However, some countries remain wary of China's growing influence and its potential impact on the regional balance of power. The international response underscores the global significance of the Taiwan Strait and the high stakes involved in any potential shift in the status quo. Behind the smiles, unchanged military postures. Despite the diplomatic breakthrough, both China and Taiwan have maintained their military postures in the Taiwan Strait. China continues its military modernization program, enhancing its naval and air capabilities, while Taiwan has stepped up its own defense spending, acquiring new weapon systems, and conducting military exercises. This apparent contradiction highlights the deep-seated mistrust that still exists between the two sides. While the agreement may signal a willingness to engage in dialogue and cooperation, it has not erased the underlying strategic realities. Both sides appear to be hedging their bets, pursuing diplomacy, while simultaneously preparing for the possibility that the agreement could unravel. Markets and microchips, economic implications of rapprochement. The economic implications of the China-Taiwan agreement are far-reaching and complex. Taiwan is a global leader in the production of semiconductors, essential components for everything from smartphones to advanced military hardware. Improved relations could lead to greater economic integration, potentially benefiting both economies. However, closer economic ties also carry risks. Taiwan's dependence on China as a trading partner could increase, potentially making it more vulnerable to economic coercion. The agreement has also sparked concerns about potential disruptions to global supply chains, particularly in the semiconductor industry. The economic fallout of the agreement will depend on its implementation and the delicate balance between cooperation and competition. History whispers echoes of past conflicts. The current situation in the Taiwan Strait draws parallels to other historical conflicts where periods of détente have been followed by renewed tensions. The Korean War, for example, saw a ceasefire agreement in 1953, but a formal peace treaty remains elusive, and the two Koreas remain technically at war. Similarly, the Israel-Palestine conflict has witnessed numerous peace agreements and negotiations, but a lasting solution remains out of reach. These historical precedents serve as a cautionary tale, reminding us that diplomatic agreements, while important, do not guarantee lasting peace. Deep-seated mistrust, historical grievances, and conflicting national interests can easily reignite tensions, even after periods of rapprochement. The China-Taiwan agreement, while a positive development, should be viewed within this broader historical context. Charting the unknown, potential futures for the Strait. The future of the Taiwan Strait remains uncertain, with multiple potential scenarios unfolding in the wake of the agreement. This narrow body of water has long been a flashpoint in international relations, and its future could shape the geopolitical landscape of the entire region. One possibility is that the agreement marks the beginning of a new era of peace and cooperation, leading to eventual reunification under mutually agreeable terms. This optimistic scenario envisions both sides working together to build trust, foster economic ties, and gradually bridge the political divide that has separated them for decades. However, this scenario hinges on both sides overcoming decades of mistrust and resolving fundamental differences. The road to reconciliation is fraught with challenges, and it will require significant concessions and goodwill from both parties. Another possibility is that the agreement represents a strategic pause, a temporary reprieve from tensions rather than a fundamental shift in the status quo. In this scenario, the underlying issues remain unresolved, and the fragile peace could be easily disrupted by any number of factors. China may use this period to consolidate its economic and military power, eventually increasing pressure on Taiwan. This could involve bolstering its military presence in the region, expanding its economic influence, and leveraging its diplomatic clout to isolate Taiwan on the international stage. Alternatively, the agreement could unravel, leading to renewed tensions and potentially even military conflict. The stakes are high, and any miscalculation or provocation could escalate into a full-blown crisis with far-reaching consequences. The path forward will depend on a complex interplay of domestic politics, economic factors, and geopolitical considerations. The international community will be watching closely, as the future of the Taiwan Strait could have significant implications for global stability and security. A new epoch, the enduring significance of this moment. The China-Taiwan agreement, regardless of its ultimate outcome, marks a pivotal moment in East Asian geopolitics. It has the potential to reshape the regional order and redefine the relationship between two major powers. The international community will be watching closely, navigating the complexities of this evolving situation. The agreement underscores the importance of diplomacy and dialogue in addressing even the most intractable conflicts. It also highlights the interconnected nature of global politics, where events in one region can have far-reaching consequences. The world now waits with bated breath, hoping that this diplomatic breakthrough will pave the way for a more peaceful and prosperous future for the Taiwan Strait and the wider Asia-Pacific region. Diplomatic maneuvers. As the world watches, both China and Taiwan have engaged in intricate diplomatic maneuvers to sustain the momentum of their agreement. High-level meetings, back-channel communications, and strategic alliances are in full swing, each side carefully balancing national interest with the global good. Diplomatic envoys are working tirelessly to build trust and iron out the specifics of the agreement, ensuring that it holds under scrutiny. The international community, including key players like the United States, Japan, and the European Union, are also actively participating, offering support and mediation where needed. This period of intense diplomacy is crucial, as it will determine whether this historic accord becomes a lasting peace or a fleeting moment of hope. The stakes are high, and the world keenly observes every move, every gesture, and every word exchanged. In the end, it is the art of diplomacy that will either solidify this breakthrough or unravel it. Pause 2S. The coming months will undoubtedly reveal the true impact of these diplomatic efforts, setting the course for the future of the Taiwan Strait and potentially reshaping the geopolitical landscape of East Asia. Technological collaborations. As diplomatic efforts continue to pave the way for a more stable relationship between China and Taiwan, another significant development is unfolding in the realm of technology. Both nations have recognized the immense potential of technological collaborations to not only boost their economies, but also to foster mutual understanding and trust. Joint ventures in areas such as artificial intelligence, renewable energy, and biotechnology are being explored with unprecedented enthusiasm. The tech industries in both China and Taiwan, known for their innovation and expertise, are now looking at each other as partners rather than competitors. This shift is not only beneficial for both economies, but also sets a powerful example of how technology can be a bridge in geopolitical conflicts. The global tech community is watching closely, as these collaborations could lead to groundbreaking advancements that ripple far beyond the Taiwan Strait. Furthermore, international companies and investors are showing increased interest, seeing opportunities for growth and innovation in this newfound cooperation. In the grand scheme, these technological collaborations hold the promise of transforming not just the economic landscape, but also the political dynamics of the region. Pause 2S. As these projects advance, they could very well become the cornerstone of a new era of peace and prosperity in East Asia, driven by the shared vision of a technologically advanced and interconnected future. Cultural exchanges. As the technological collaborations between China and Taiwan gain momentum, another equally important aspect of their relationship is flourishing cultural exchanges. Both nations, with their rich histories and vibrant traditions, are now opening doors to each other's cultural treasures. This mutual exchange is seen in various forms, from art exhibitions and film festivals to academic collaborations and student exchange programs. These cultural interactions are not just about sharing heritage, but also about building a deeper understanding and appreciation of each other's way of life. Imagine a Taiwanese opera being performed in Beijing, or a Chinese calligraphy exhibition held in Taipei. These events are more than mere performances. They are symbols of a growing willingness to connect on a human level. The younger generations in particular are embracing these opportunities, eager to explore and learn from each other's cultures. This cultural renaissance is creating a new narrative, one that moves beyond political tensions and focuses on shared human experiences. As these cultural exchanges continue to grow, they hold the potential to foster a lasting sense of camaraderie and mutual respect. In a world often divided by differences, these efforts remind us of the power of culture to unite. Pause 2S. Through the lens of art, music, literature, and education, China and Taiwan are painting a hopeful picture of what can be achieved when two societies come together in the spirit of understanding and collaboration. Environmental cooperation. In the backdrop of technological and cultural rapprochement, China and Taiwan have found common ground in addressing environmental challenges. Both nations are facing similar issues such as air pollution, water scarcity, and the impacts of climate change. This shared vulnerability has paved the way for collaborative efforts in environmental protection. Imagine joint initiatives where scientists from both sides come together to tackle these pressing problems. From developing sustainable agricultural practices to creating advanced waste management systems, these projects are not only beneficial for the environment, but also serve as a bridge between the two societies. Pause 1S. One notable example is the Cross-Strait project on renewable energy. By pooling their resources and expertise, China and Taiwan are working towards a greener future, with a focus on solar and wind energy. These efforts are already showing promising results, reducing carbon footprints and promoting energy independence. Pause 1S. Moreover, there are community-driven programs where citizens participate in tree planting campaigns and coastal cleanup drives. Such grassroots movements are fostering a sense of unity and shared responsibility towards the environment. Pause 1S. As these environmental collaborations progress, they highlight the potential for China and Taiwan to set aside their political differences and work towards a common good. In a world grappling with ecological crises, their cooperation stands as a beacon of hope and a model for others to follow. Through these collective endeavors, China and Taiwan are not just protecting their natural heritage, but also nurturing a sustainable and harmonious future for generations to come.